Yo, Monday. I hope you're ready to make some trouble. We certainly are. Made a little trouble over the weekend too, but that's okay. There's a lot more to be made. Let's talk about a little trouble this week. Ready to bounce?
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be. They stop and stare when they see me. If it's there once, no need to repeat.
This is already getting off to a great start. I don't know if I've ever started by laughing so hard in my life. Kyle, events season is here. If you didn't know it already, I feel like May all of a sudden, like I looked at the May calendar and I'm like, holy crap.
Look, yeah,
everything.
That's exactly
it's starting
what
this month.
Yeah, it is. It's starting. We were going to be going places, but between NADA last month, I got babies in the house, and May's going to be crazy. June's going to be crazy. So we're staying put for a little bit, blocking and tackling, getting things done, but it's good. It's really good.
I really wanted to get out to the Auto Intel Summit. Steve Greenfield has so many good things to say about it, and the Cherokee team that puts that on. And we thought we were going to get out there. Just wasn't in the cards this time around, but we'll try to pay attention. But I've heard it's a great summit, and Steve's going to be doing some stuff there. So he's
what I love about that one, and from what I hear about it, is it's primarily technology companies and looking at like what does it look like to collab to increase the capacity from a technology perspective in the industry. So it's kind of a unique event where it's actually not dedicated to dealers, although a lot of dealers do attend. It's dedicated to a lot of the industry partner platforms that are looking to like make changes, challenge each other, tell what they're doing. So kind of an interesting thing. We'll see if we can snag some stuff out of it or maybe talk to some people that are there this week.
Yeah. No, we're going to try to do that as much as we can, whether we're there or not there. We're going to try to bring as much of like the highlights and things to you, so you feel like you were there. And we feel like we were there, even if we weren't. I'm sure Cherokee's going to put a lot around there, so we can report on that a little bit. We're super excited about Digital Dealer. We're throwing another ASOTU family reunion Friday night. Was it May 9th?
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here.
We haven't said it out loud yet. We haven't said it out loud. That was the first time.
We just actually committed to it, right?
No, we committed to it already. Stop. we got a venue locked. It's going to be at American Social again. Last time, we blew the roof off that place last time, and this time is going to be better. We have some fun stuff planned. Maybe even a live in-person retail swag shop where you get to come in and just get some swag for free, or if you're there as a guest, or there's a lot of fun things to do. But Digital Dealer is going to be great. It's in Tampa, 9th through 11th. We will be there. Obviously, the 9th we're having our event, but we'll be out there on the floor trying to bring some of that stuff to you. What else is going on? When is the David Kain Families and Friends and Family event? I haven't been to this.
The end of this month, right?
I think it's in April. And talk about one of the nicest guys in automotive, right? David Kain. Yeah. Just look at his picture. He's so nice. And when you hear the accent on top of it, you're like, man, I know why everybody likes you. You're just so great. You're so nice. Yes. So that's going to be like a who's who, especially in the vendor industry, of a lot of amazing speakers and a lot of innovators that we know are going to be there in person. So if you can
it's the 19th. It's coming up. It's real soon. So it is the cast of characters. And I think that's just a testament to David, right? It's just that he's like, everybody loves David. And so everybody comes to the workshop. And it's also interesting because he holds it where he's at, which is in Lexington, which is not a place that you typically go for conferences.
It's not the average stop,
Florida, Vegas, right? All that. Yeah. So it's kind of a fun, different thing to go to for sure.
I heard one of the events is they're actually like going to go to a horse race,
which is great. You can't do that anywhere.
I can picture David Kain in some blue suede shoes. I just can.
Yeah.
White suit, blue suede shoes. We're going to find that picture. I'm sure it's going to exist. Another one coming up that's not an automotive conference. It's a first ever. It's called VeeCon, VeeCon. It's Gary Vaynerchuk's conference. It's going to be, he's positioning it like the next South by Southwest, very heavy into crypto, NFTs. And the only way you can get to this is if you own one of his first issue VeeFriends NFTs. I happen to have one, so I'm going. I can't miss this one. I just can't miss this one. So really looking forward to seeing what is on the front edge of conferences in general. What is on the front edge of how you bring people together, how you execute, how you activate well, because we're trying to shake up, the automotive scene. I'm not saying, I don't think we need another conference with workshops and keynotes, right? Those are good things, but we have another little something cooking for maybe September that will be our take on what we think an automotive conference can be and should be. So we'll talk more about that, but I'm a little jealous because right after VeeCon, Kyle is going to DMSC. It's the event that Brian Pash has put on for you. You should be excited.
I've never been to DMSC. I've wanted to go a few times, and if nothing else, because it's in Napa Valley and it's just so cool there.
It doesn't suck.
You can be outside at all hours of the day and not be mad about it unless it's raining, and it doesn't rain much. So
it rained one year when I was there. I think we went the last 4 years. It's one of my favorites because it stands for Digital Marketing Strategies Conference. And what you have here is some of the brightest people in the marketing ecosystem. So if like you have the tippy top as a 10, these are all the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. But it's all like everyone that's there is at least like a 7, and they're looking for the 10. And it's in a small hotel. It's real intimate. Brian always curates some really great wine. I mean, the man knows how to put on an event. He just does. And so that's coming up as well. And some others are coming up. Then, at the end of May, we kind of like take the break, right? June, July, August, right? We're doing the summer thing. And so all these things are coming up. We're going to try to cover them as best we can for you. Maybe you're interested in going to one of them. We'll link them all up in the show notes so that if you want to like learn a little bit more about it and maybe go to it. And when you go, tell them we sent you.
Yes. Tell them ASOTU sent you. Like boots on ground everywhere. They'll be like, wait, what? How many employees did they have?
Yes, right. Yeah, we're not trying to play blocker on any event. We're saying like we are pro industry.
Speaking of employees,
stop.
Segue.
Time.
Were we speaking of employees? Where did you even get that?
Well, I was like, we're sending people places. We got ASOTU employees everywhere. It was a stretch. It was a stretch. Give it to me.
Okay, I'll allow it.
No, so last week, there were a couple of new ASOTU employees, some that you may know, through a calendar invite on Paul and my schedule, kind of unbeknownst to us, known to us, and they named it something a little bit ridiculous, right? So that it was ambiguous as to what they were working on. But on the back channels, apparently, they had been working on a new podcast show idea. And we'll explain it in just a minute. But the really fun part about this new podcast idea was they were like, here's the podcast idea. And we think we can put it together. And both Paul and I were like, yeah, we think we can probably make time in our schedule. And they were like, no. What you don't understand is we want to host it, which was really cool to us. And so Paul explained like why they thought that them hosting it and watch, we're going to do some really cool things with this, why that's going to be important and what we need from you if you're listening right now.
Okay. So what our philosophy here at ASOTU is we want to wrap our arms around the entire industry, draw a really big circle, which means we're not just going after the owners, GM, salesmen, or sales managers, very important, but we're also trying to wrap our arms around the service advisors, salespeople, receptionists, back office, technologists, janitors, lot porters, detailers, all of them, because we know that's where the rubber meets the road in the store. And we know if we can get more of those people in the conversation, we're just going to be able to innovate faster because everyone's aligned on what we're trying to do and why automotive is the best industry to be in the United States. So they understand that about us, two of our team members, Danielle and Chris. And so they were like, let's do a podcast where we interview those people. And we find those people so that they can not only we can inject into them some energy for this industry. So they leave being interviewed with some more energy and knowing that like, hey, it's cool to love automotive. But then the other people that have the positions like them start listening to this, right? Because everyone wants to listen to the other people that do the same things they do. And maybe they'll get inspired and energized. And the reason that Danielle and Chris think they should host the podcast is because it's one step removed from Kyle and I. Right? So we want to show everybody that everybody on the ASOTU team loves this industry as much as Kyle and I do. And so it's
That's
like, hey, like those are the boss guys, right? But us, like we all believe it too, you know?
Yeah.
And so it blew our minds. We were just sitting there like,
I was just sitting there like I had to lean back and just, you know, it's one of those moments where
you were leaning back. You were.
This is so good.
And it's like, I said to Kyle after the call, I was like, that was an idea where I'm like, how come we didn't think of this sooner? It feels really good when like your team is like thinking in an aligned way. And so like, we really got pumped. And then we're like, okay, what are we going to call it? And then we were like, maybe this, no, maybe that. No. So we were like, we need to crowdsource this name. It's only appropriate.
It's exactly employees everywhere, Paul. Employees everywhere.
Yeah, right. Right. So what we need you to do is if you can think of a name that would really conceptualize that show well, go to crew@asotu.com or email crew@asotu.com and send us your name suggestions. If we happen to pick your name suggestions, we're going to send you stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
And we'll mention you on the show and we will send you stuff and we will be forever grateful that you decided to troublemaker with us.
Exactly. So again, to recap, the idea of the show is we're going to have core people in ASOTU interviewing core people in the dealership that aren't the ones that normally get interviewed for podcasts and articles and all that type of stuff. So we're
no
really
GMs,
excited about
no
the energy
owners.
that's gonna,
right.
Exactly.
No sales
The
managers.
energy
It's not
that's
happening.
gonna bring.
Okay, so
let's go.
Let's actually talk about some news.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
There's one story. It dropped last week, but I think it's really important because you and I have friends that are actually in it's called the NIL business, name, image, likeness. Dave Meltzer, one of our mentors, is big into this, and now college athletes are allowed to monetize their name, image, and likeness, within certain parameters. And before now, they really haven't been able to. So here they are in college. They're playing and studying. They're working super hard. The colleges are making bank off their name, image, and likeness, right? They're selling tickets and they're putting them on TV and all this. And the actual athlete hasn't been able
Networks
to do that.
are making a ton of money on
everybody,
them,
everybody but them.
Everyone is making money. Yes.
Everybody but them. So that has changed. And now that is possible, we're starting to see some auto dealers get in the game. And, we see a lot of auto dealer and pro sports teams and pro sports athletes agreements, but now we're getting into college, which I think is a lot more like organic, right? College sports are just more organic, right? The stories are closer to home, right? The students, they're younger, right? And they're just like, hey, they just left home for the first time. Like there's just a lot of real life in college sports.
Right.
And
well, I think what would be really smart is for dealers to look at not so much the people that are going to school near you, but the ones that were like local, homegrown, the ones that came from high school and then went to school and are playing maybe even somewhere else, and to highlight that stuff.
As long as it's not a competitive team.
Yeah, that's true, right? You're in Columbus, Ohio, and that guy decided to go to Michigan. Like, don't pick that dude, okay?
We're never talking to him again, right? He's out. And so there's an automotive news article that we linked up. Rick Reichert was kind of like I think the one that they featured in mainly, so you can go and check it out and you can just see the fun that is about to be had or that can be had. And if you weren't aware of this or you didn't know, it's a huge opportunity for your marketing department to get some local influencers at lower dollar amounts and probably more relatable to some of the audiences you actually want to get in touch with. So it's things like this don't start very often, right? Like this is a big deal and it'll become very normal and regular shortly. So this is the opportunity you have.
Early market mover. There you go.
Because in 12 months, everyone else is going to try to get those same people. And then I think it's always weird when you see like the same person, they're like, hey, I'm with this dealership. And then the next year, like whatever the contract ran up, like I met this dealership, I have a football in my hand. You should buy these cars. Right?
Buy these cars, right? Yeah, exactly.
And so, so for marketing departments, savvy GMs, savvy sales managers, this is your opportunity to move first. So do that. Let's do one more. It's 14 minutes in. Everyone's got work to do. Let's do one more. Okay. So I don't know if you know this, but I read the Wall Street Journal because I'm a sophisticated businessman.
You're sophisticated and savvy, right?
Sophisticated and savvy. The reason I read the Wall Street Journal is because a dealer, a very successful dealer, he said, I read this every day and you should too. And that's what got in my head that I should read the Wall Street Journal. It's like, this is the least biased news publication that covers a broad variety of news. And it kind of stays down the line because business is usually like down the middle, right? It's very factual, very matter of fact. I'm a little bit agnostic when it comes to like political views. It's like, so Wall Street Journal, I've really enjoyed reading it because it gets all that out of my face, all the, all the polarizing stuff. And they have a periodical that comes out once a week. It's called The Future of Retail. It's called The Future of Everything. And it covers a broad spectrum. But this article caught my attention because it's talking about the future of last mile and how drones and robots with AI will deliver your online order fast. Definitely a conversation's been ramping up. Who was the company, Kyle, that is just starting drone delivery? I think it's like Arizona. Where the heck is it?
Oh, man. Yeah,
somebody started, like somebody's doing it now. Or maybe it's Dallas. I think it's Dallas.
I don't know the drone delivery, but I know that there's been like robotic delivery a lot, and that has happened in a lot of major cities, right? The like little rolling robots. They have like heated and cooled sections, kind of cool, and things like that. They're really cool. Yeah.
And so either way, so this article, we're linked it up in the articles. I think you can read this even if you don't subscribe. Basically, they're talking about building access, right? Like, because it's easy to do it in the suburbs, right? Which makes a lot of sense. And some of the things they're delivering, they're like, it's going to be so fast and efficient that your ice cream won't even melt.
No way.
Right? Oh yeah.
That's
like
dangerous.
You can order like an ice cream sundae.
There's this place in East Nashville called Jenny's. It could easily get here and not melt. I'd be eating some ice cream all day.
Dangerous.
So
it's like the one-click shop button. Super dangerous. But the bottom line is this: we talk about things in retail that are going to affect the way you do business, right? I even think of like, parts delivery. There are a lot of parts
delivery.
I can't remember what the weight limit is. Oh, I'm trying to find it.
Oh, but there's plenty of
parts. 10
parts.
pounds.
I mean, you think about this. How many like of the rings or gaskets or things like that you just need like 10 shipped right now because you just busted one or something like that in a service department, how quick you could have that instead of sending people across the city be pretty wild. But there's the crazy part about this is there have to become like a ton of air traffic control rules. The more and more that's coming out.
Yeah. Got to regulate the crap out of it.
Yeah,
and so
it's really
like
interesting.
They're even doing some things like writing drone air rights, like landing rights into building leases as we speak. The article cites an Australian company's already been doing this in Australia, more than 200,000 drone deliveries, including 1,000 in a single day. The aircraft, the 10-pound aircraft carry packages of 3 pounds or less, including items like sandwiches, coffee, lowering goods to the ground on a 23-foot cord. I don't know why it's 23 feet, but apparently that's a thing. And so
just about the right height.
23, 21 was just a little too less. They need a little more. 25. Nah. And so, so check that out. But this is the part of retail and the way the consumer thinks that the more we pay attention to it, I think, as the automotive industry, just the more we're going to be prepared to pivot. Might sound like
this is what, I used to do a lot in sales training where it's like when Amazon came into the market and said, hey, 2-day shipping is now the normal. Right. That changed our whole perception on the speed of things getting to
3 days felt really slow.
Exactly. And so now, it's not, maybe we're not delivering cars via drones, but the consumer perception on the way that transactions and delivery should happen is adjusted. And it might not be directly related to whatever your industry is, but it's inherently like inserted into the consumer psyche.
And it never goes back. Well, I can't say it never goes back because our delivery expectations went back a little bit, but it took a global pandemic to do it. Right. But I'm back now. Like I expect 2 days again. It didn't take long.
We're getting like things delivered in 3 hours.
3 hours.
So it's fast.
In Syracuse, we have a big warehouse, Amazon warehouse. That's just about to open. And like, I'm like, oh man,
change the game.
Change the game. Oh man. I think that's all we can handle on a Monday. But thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, send us the name suggestions, crew@asotu.com. We need them. We want to hook you up. And until then, get out there, serve some people, get your bounce on today. Let's go.